guys, welcome back to my channel. It's just Shania here, and did you notice anything different about me, guys? Shania straightened the afro. Yes, hunty, I did it myself. I did it with no heat damage, and there's an older video on that, but I'm gonna give y'all an updated one. And I was just bored one night. It was late. I was sick. I was like, what could I do that's not gonna be as long as Bantu knots? Let me straighten this for her. So I just, put it together, pin curled it, give myself a little big bang, and boom. Guys, as you can see by the title of the story, this is a time where I could have issued a lawsuit. Well, I was going to fight something. We'll get into the story. And by no means is this story time trying to bash anybody. I'm actually extremely appreciative of every experience I've had during my time filming a web series this summer. Wearing my merchandise now. I made waves this summer. But yeah, by no means am I trying to bash anybody. I experienced so much, and I'm appreciative of all the experience, whether they were good or bad, throughout this thing. So there will be no names mentioned, no figures mentioned. However, there will be a 3-part series on how to create a web series that I will be doing. Very, very, very important, and this ties into that, because this is just a fun story time, and that is where I get down to the nitty-gritty detail in the business of everything pre-production, during production, and post-production of creating an entire web series, a very detailed series. Look out for it. It's going to be great. Length check. Ooh. Straighten the head, straighten the head. Ooh, top of the titty. The top of the titty. Ooh, 3 years where? 3 years where? Okay. So guys, where do I start in this story? Where do I start? Because when I say this journey of creating waves this summer was crazy. So if you do not know, I wrote, acted, and directed and funded my very own web series, summer of 2017. That was what my summer was like. Amongst all the traveling that you see in the vlogs, I also did my own web series. Remember when I said 2017 was a great year? I didn't lie. I didn't lie. Once I wrote it, I knew I was ready to film it. I knew this was my baby, and I'm ready to give birth. I'm going to need a doctor, a midwife. I'm gonna need the whole team there to help me give birth to this baby. I cannot do this alone, right? Even though there are mothers who could give birth alone, we've all heard the stories, and I commend them. Just saying. I knew I needed a team for this. So once it was written, I went on a trip to Paris. We all seen the vlogs, and during that trip, yes, I had my laptop. I bring my laptop everywhere because I like to do business. I don't like being not productive. I like being productive all the time. If I'm not productive, trust and believe the next day or the day after the next day after that, I'm gonna be 10 times as productive. While I was away, I had one of my actors, I was searching everywhere for a cinematographer because I was going to be in front of the camera, and it's very important that as a director, you have a cinematographer that you trust if you're acting in the show, because you want to make sure that they can capture your vision. So I was searching for a cinematographer, hopefully somebody who was at least cheap to free to cheap, however you want to say it. And I was going to buy all the equipment myself so I could own that equipment, because either way that equipment would be used, so it wouldn't be a waste of money. So I was searching. I'm a film minor, so I was definitely checking in my school, asking my professors if they knew anyone, all of that. It's very, very, very difficult to find a cinematographer to dedicate as much time as it takes to make a web series, especially a small web series, and to dedicate time without pay or time with little pay. So things like that is very important to take into account, because these are people at the end of the day. It's labor, and it's a heartache, it's stress, it's everything that you would like to be compensated for, pretty much, right? So I was searching for someone, and I had a few inquiries, a few people who were, prospects. However, I wasn't necessarily extremely happy with them. So one of my actors referred her friend, and I was like, oh, great. Send me their email. Was emailing back and forth, and he started by saying that it was a full production company. Now, I like to let people know up front what my financial status is and what my budget was for this series, and I said, I can't afford that. Thank you for your services. However, he said that he was not the end all be all, and he will refer me to the person who goes over all the finances of it, and then we could actually discuss if I could afford it, because I was, speaking in terms of what an actual production company would cost. And apparently they don't necessarily run on those prices. They are themselves up and coming. So referred me to them. I sent in sample scripts, and mind you, this was all happening while I was overseas. They were reading over that. I said, when I get back, we'll set up a meeting. I get back, set up a meeting. They loved the script, and we were pretty much going over finances and what I needed. So I explained to them what I needed. All of this detail that I'm leaving out, which is not important to the meat of the story, will be in that detailed how to start a web series. Gave me a figure, came back and wrote it down, and I said, I cannot do that. But then, of course, I counter offered. They went back and discussed it, came back, gave me something good, a really good deal, and I appreciated it, because we're both up and coming here. So that deal was great. I said yes. We shook hands on it, broke bread, said we'll each draw up contracts. They were aware that of what the deal was. They needed a deposit, of course. Sent the deposit once the contracts were signed and ready and done. So now the important part of this all was creating a shot list with your cinematographer, especially if you're acting in front of the camera. So the shot list makes everything run extremely, extremely smooth. Again, details that will be left out because of the other video. Okay, that's my last time. I promise I'm done. Maybe not, but I promise I'm finished. Purposely doing it. Me and the cinematographer are now texting and trying to set up FaceTime calls where we could go over this shot list here. Because without that, it's going to be really hard to function. Me and the producer, which came with the little package, in the little production package, me and the producer are we're communicating. However, me and the cinematographer, I find it really hard for me to get a hold of him. So we set up one night to go over a shot list, and my series was pretty long. It's about 7 episodes. I mean, not that long, but it's still, in terms of script and doing a shot list, it will take time. It was about 7 episodes. The first episode alone was about 40 pages. We set up one night to do it, and it's very late night, so we get through maybe half of episode 1. We probably get through 20 pages of a shot list, which is not much compared to how much more work we have to do. And this is within a month's time, and the time that we started setting up the shot list, after we went through the contracts and the meetings and the deciding figures, after 2 weeks for business, 2 weeks for pre-production. Not enough time, if you ask me. However, during these 2 weeks, we really need to grind together. We really need to hustle together to get a shot list in time for the production. And also within that 4-week span, 2 weeks for business, 2 weeks for pre-production. Within that span, I was also still planning a whole schedule for the production. I needed a production schedule that worked around about 12 people's schedules, having certain actors cancel on me and a whole shebang bang, okay? So there's a lot of obstacles. Sorry to tie it in, but again, those obstacles and overcoming them will be in the next video, okay? All while trying to keep in contact with other people, especially the cinematographer, to get the shot list done, okay? Trying to get this shot list done. Me and the cinematographer are now going over everything, get 20 pages done. And let's say it's Monday. I've been texting him since Monday till Thursday, right? To set up a second meeting to finish up our work, and set up multiple meetings to finish up our work of doing a shot list. I'm not getting a hold of him at all. So now I'm getting upset, I'm getting scared. I'm texting the producer, like, where is he? Why is he not messaging me? Like, there's X amount of time. Producer saying, oh, it'll be fine. It's okay. We kind of work like this sometimes. It'll be fine on set. And I'm like, okay, well, we need a shot list, but I mean, I'm going to trust you. Like, I'm the type of person where I believe everyone's good until they prove me wrong. I'm sorry, I keep touching my hair. I'm the type of person that will believe everyone's good until they prove me wrong, until they prove me otherwise. I hate to believe that people are bad and that people will try to hurt me intentionally. So if you would have to kind of prove that to me, and prove, that's not my hair, right? No. to me that you are a bad person. What the? Nobody ever texts me. So the fact that I'm getting a text message now is just very annoying. It's like Sunday. So there's maybe a week till the first day of production, right? And on top of that, I didn't even order equipment yet because I need to speak to him to figure out what exactly are we missing that we need. So I need to know exactly what he recommends and also what he's comfortable using and knows how to use. So I needed that communication. It's maybe like a week left before production. I'm freaking out. My friend's about to have a barbecue, and maybe the morning of this barbecue, I'm at work and I get a text message from the cinematographer like, I'm so sorry, we'll talk about it, or something like that. We'll go over it. It sounds like a freaking breakup text, and I'm just like, what kind of? And mind you, I'm extremely professional. If I'm cool with you, all right, but in these first times of meeting you where we're strictly professional, I'm gonna need you to act right, to get it right. So it sounds like a sad we gotta talk text message. So he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll explain it to you. And I'm just like, well, we have a week. And I'm being calm, I'm not upset yet. I am upset, but I'm not showing it yet. That night, I go to my friend's barbecue and I get like a text message around 6 o'clock talking about, I'll call you at 7. And I'm just like, what is happening here? Mind you, like these 2 weeks or this week and a half has been going by where my heart is literally beating out of my chest. Like I'm shaking. I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I adding all this extra stress on top of my life? I don't need to be doing this. Like, what is the universe telling me? And I just couldn't stop. I was just like, I have to keep going. There was this odd piece of something was driving me. I don't know what it was. I don't know what force this was, but something was telling me I need to go through with this, and I could not give up. So even with all this weird communication, I was just like, I have to keep going. So that night, and like my heart's beating out of my chest, and I feel it's like I literally felt like I was gonna die because I already put in a lot of money and I'm not the type of person to like to look like a fool. So I already told all these people about it, and it's like to retract things like that. I was like, that I can never do that to myself, because once you do that once, it's kind of like not who you become, but it's not okay for me. I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. I was just stressed. Not even the word, but I was stressed. And he's talking, I'm gonna call you. So then he calls me and I'm like, hey, like what's going on? Like, are you going to be prepared to film without a shot list? Because now we have no time to do a shot list. There's like 5 days until we start our first day of production. What are you gonna do? I already, mind you, booked an Airbnb in New Jersey and everything for the first day of filming. That will again all be in the next videos. You guys already know it by now. All of how to scout locations and stuff like that would all be in there. Calls and he starts giving me this super sad sob story about his life and what he's going through and this and this and that and that. And I felt like somebody shot me, because he was pretty much canceling on me, saying that he couldn't do it. And before he even said those words, mind you, he's giving me this whole sad sob story. And I'm just like, it's all right. We'll work through it. Like, it's fine. And I'm trying to believe that he's not going to cancel on me. I feel it coming. You know when you feel a breakup coming, but you're trying your hardest to stop it. Like, I knew it was coming. He was canceling on me. And I have 5 days. So I have no time to find anyone else. So I felt like I was being shot. Like, I felt like somebody was stabbing me. I can't even express those feelings to you guys in words. I can't redo those words for you, because there's no way to explain how broken I felt within this moment, within these 5 minutes, because I'm going to tell you how I snapped back. So he's explaining like the sad sob story, and the sad part of Shania was hurt for about 4 minutes. Then the business side of Shania, the pissed off side of Shania, started coming the fuck out, and I went off. When I say I went off, everybody thought I was crazy, because it was like a barbecue, so people were in front of the yard and back of the yard, and I'm across the street, and people see me going off on the phone. I went the hell off. You do not get to steal time from me. And when I say this, I am very, very, very serious. I don't play games with my time. Why? I don't have a lot of it. So when you waste it, there will be issues. There will be all types of issues. Mind you, the contract's signed, so I can take you to court for this, for losses, because I have losses. I already put money into this, and that was my plan. That's where my mind was going. So I went off. I said, you're unprofessional as hell, trying to cancel on me within 5 days, but here's what you're gonna do. And this is where you gotta really take a step out of your own body and turn to yourself and say, bitch, do that. You gonna tell me you're gonna cancel? All right, I'm gonna tell you how you gonna make it up. I'm gonna tell you your next steps. And that's how, and the way I'm speaking right now is the same way I felt. This was me coming out of my body to really express to you how dead serious, because people will take your kindness and run a marathon with it. They will take it and they'll whoop, 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 whoop right around you. And then you really have to clothesline them and stop them in their tracks and say, you're not doing this to me. You are, let me just say a piece of advice before I continue. You are in charge of how everyone treats you and what you accept. You can only accept this much. Honestly, it's up to you. I can only accept this much. So I will be kind up to a point. I am in charge of how people treat me. I'm in charge of who is in my life. I'm in charge of what I deserve. Okay? Nobody else is about to give me anything. So I'm going to tell you what I need, and it's up to you to do that unless there will be consequences, because I do not play games. Okay? I was just pissed and going the fuck off. I told him, here's what you're going to do. I want my deposit back. No one's getting paid until that's done, first of all. And there's no discussion of anything further until I get my money back, for one. Okay? And the second part of the contract, null and void. Okay? Because I'm not going to be nice and kind and accommodating to you when you're doing this to me. So that second part of the contract, null and void. If you disagree with it, walk from the money that you're about to get. Because you could either have the material or you can have this money. So you about to throw that money away because you can't have the material no more? What you about to do? You got to know when you have the upper hand in situations. Okay? And I definitely had the upper hand. I said the second part of the contract, null and void. And third of all, if you're not trying to catch a lawsuit, you're going to need to find your replacement. Same thing if you, let's say, renting a room, right? And you are trying to end your lease early without finding a replacement, just so you know, you can be taken to court for that, in case people were curious. So even though, you're not always guaranteed to win, stress them out a little bit. Okay? Stress them out a little bit. You cause me this stress, I'm going to stress you out just a little bit. You're going to find me a replacement because I have 5 days before production. So you're going to find me somebody who could come in here and do this work without a shot list, and do this work for the same price that I was going to pay you without the material in the second half of the agreement. And that was my energy. It was much, of course, more aggressive than that. Once I stated everything I could say, and he kept trying to get words, and I even had to say, don't say a word. You spoke enough. What is it that you could possibly say to me? Apologize? Go ahead. At the end of the day, at this very moment, I don't have a cinematographer for my series, and there's 5 days till production. That would mean I would have to cancel everything, lose money, and then some. That was my requirement, 3 requirements, and he had to get it done. He said, okay, all right, okay. That was the cinematographer. So then I called the producer, and he was catching fire in that ass too. He was catching fire too. I said, first of all, are you still on this, yay or nay? Like, you still in this? Tell me now, because I need to know who about to catch this heat. Are you still in this? He was still in it. Grateful for him. He was still in it. I was like, well, this is what I told him. So you guys partner up and y'all get that done. Because if it's not done, there will be a major issue. So reduce the fire, put out the flames, make Shania happy. And that was my energy. Oh, wait. Let me tell you about lighting a fire under somebody's butt. I said, if I don't have a confirmation of my refund return within an hour, you're going to get another call from me. And it's not going to be pretty. What was I going to do? I honestly don't know what I was going to do. I really have no power like that, guys. I don't have the juice. I do not have the juice. My name is just Shania, and I do not have the juice. But no, I was pissed. I said, 1 hour, give me a confirmation. An hour passed, and I got the confirmation. Talk about lighting a fire under somebody's butt. 1 hour, got the confirmation of the refund. It didn't show in my account just yet. It did take some time. However, I did get the confirmation of it, screenshot sent to my phone. And then they said they'll work on finding another thing, and they were going to redo the contract. I was going to redo my contract, and we got that done within 3 to 4 days. It was done. Within 2 days, they called me saying, oh, this is the next person's that we found to do it. They were going to work on paying them. And here's the way that, again, all details in there, but I'll explain a small thing. When you're hiring the production company, they're in charge of paying the employees. So let's just say they're like a freelance company, right? They're supposed to have a certain group of people working for them, a certain amount of equipment within their package, if you want to call it that. So whatever everybody gets paid is up to them. It has nothing to do with me. I pay one entity. The entity splits it amongst whoever they have to split it amongst. They found somebody else, got in contact with that person, watched that person's reel, was very happy. However, we were going to have two because some weren't available during X days of production, so we had to have two. And you guys will get another story time about that will be mixed into episode 2 of the other series. All these tie-ins, how important are those videos going to be, guys? How important? Very important. Yeah, that was about it. I never spoke to that cinematographer again. I was literally, if none of the things that I said were to be done and I had to cancel, I would have canceled, but I would also cancel and open up a lawsuit. I would have. You could honestly, everybody, note this down. You could bring a lawsuit against anybody for almost anything, okay? And again, it's not always guaranteed that you'll win, but it's also how you state your case. So honestly, if you have any losses and those losses are directly tied to somebody else, there is a good chance that you can win that case, just so you know. So I look into law a lot. I watch a lot of court shows, and then once I watch these cases, I also look into other cases about it and other laws about it. If you experience some sort of loss or some sort of disadvantage because of the direct actions of somebody else, especially if that other person is in contract to fulfill a certain amount of things that they could not, and you lose because of that, you have losses because of that, you can sue them. And these people were going to get sued. Like, they are I won't say a bunch of kids, but they're a bunch of young adults also trying to come up in the world. And I'm a young adult trying to come up in this world as well. But I'm a young adult who's also very much about their business and plays no games. And I'm not going to say it like I'm any different from anybody else. But listen, I know my capabilities and I know where I stand in certain things. So when I say that because I don't want people to take me as a joke, because I'm dead serious 90% of the time. They were going to catch a lawsuit if certain things weren't going to get done. And even if on the end of that lawsuit I didn't win, guess what? I stressed you out and I just bothered your pockets because now you could pay legal fees. Now you have to pay legal fees. And I'll be fine. I'll make up for this. I'm a hard work. Like, when I say this, I'm like, listen, money is like, I'm not rich, I'm not nothing, but I don't let money really put a damper on my life. Honestly, I don't let money put a damper on my life at all. My goal is to put some stress on your damn life because of what you did to me. Guys, that's the story time about how the production company almost got a lawsuit off of me and ways to not, and also how to boss the fuck up and tell people not to fuck with you. Okay, so everybody, again, please subscribe to this channel. And if you don't, I could care less. But thank you guys so much. Continue to watch all my videos and get ready for another series on how to create the web series that I've been talking about so much. And I hope you guys really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Follow my social media, subscribe, and enjoy your day.